Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis. Thank you for joining. We are in the Bhagavad Gita summary study program. We completed until 9 chapters. We have to read from chapter. We are going to discuss from chapter 10. My name is Patita Pavana Balram Das. I am from the Bhakti Vriksha team. So, anybody joining new today? Okay, we'll get started. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, great. So we will be discussing the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Um, we are not going to go into full details because it will not be enough to cover every chapter in an hour. We can discuss about one verse even for an hour. We typically do that where when we do this program on a longer version, we discuss one verse a day. So we go in depth of those, but since we this is new for us, we will only discuss the important um, points from each of the chapter. Before we discuss any spiritual topics, we have to seek the mercy of the Supreme Lord and the previous Acharya. So we have to say a few prayers. Since I'm sharing my screen and you also have been saying this from the last, I think, 9 classes, we'll all say it together. Please unmute and say along with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे. So we are dedicating this program. We are dedicating this program to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we are inspired to do this program by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. He is a senior member in ISKCON and also a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. We are doing this program by just reading the glories of Bhagavad Gita. We'll read one more glory. Anyone wants to read the verse and the translation? Vijay Prabhu, your son is joining from the last 2 classes. He is not reading. Okay. So let me read. Yeah, go ahead.
न शृणोति न पठति गीतम् अमृतरूपिणीं हस्तत्वत्य Prabhuji, maybe you can help us.
That's okay. Tyaktvaamrutam.
Tyaktvamrutam pratam praptam sa naro visam asnute. One who neither recites nor hears the Gita, which is the embodiment of ambrosia, drops nectar from his hand in order to drink poison. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So we read about the glories, and also we are also looking at what happens if we don't read, right? If we don't read, we are basically drinking poison. Why it is said as drinking poison? Because we read in the previous glories, Bhagavad Gita will deliver us from this cycle of repeated birth and death, from this uh, Dukhalayama Shashwatam place, right, which is a temporary and place of misery. But if we are not taking that, then indirectly we are taking the poison, which is to remain in this place and go further and further entangled, bound to this place. So that's why we have to take this opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita. So we'll quickly discuss about chapter 9, the recap. Do we know, anybody can tell the name of the chapter? What is chapter 9? Anyone remembers?
Raja Vidyana Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga.
Yeah. So in English, what was the name? We have three kinds of knowledge, right? One is the Guhyam, Guhyataram, Guhyatamam. So this one is the Guhyatamam. It's the Raja Vidya. And Raja Guhyam. Guhyam means what?
Confidential.
Confidential. Raja Guhyam means
It could be the most
confidential. Yes.
confidential.
So chapter 9 is the most confidential chapter. And what would we learn in that chapter? So when we say most confidential, what is the confidential information, knowledge then? Confidential knowledge is we are not this, we are not the
body,
but we are the soul. And we have so many designations in this world, right? I am a manager, I am a developer, I am a quality analyst, or I'm a father, I'm a mother, I am a student, I am a doctor, I am an engineer. So many designations. I'm an Indian, I'm a basketball fan. Like we create so many designations. And all those are pertaining to the body only. Because we got the body, that whatever we have those designations. But the confidential information is we are not that body. We are the soul that lives within the body, which doesn't have any designations. And that knowledge, not people don't. Most of the people in the world don't know. They have these designations, and they are running after those designations, trying to maintain them or doing the work that is assigned to those designations without understanding the real self, real identity. What is more confidential than that? Which is how to get out of this material world, because we know that once we understand the relationship between the soul and the body, we know that the soul is encaged by the body. Means like a bird is put in a cage. Same thing, like our soul is encaged by the body, and that is, since we have the body, we have all these miseries, because the body is temporary, body does is not perfect, and it goes through so many kleshas, means miseries, and rogas, diseases. And that's why we have the soul is also under going through that um, pain and pains. How do we get out? Means by doing devotional service. Then the most confidential knowledge is what? How to perform pure devotional service. How to get out from this material world and not come back. Who can help us? The Supreme Lord. That is the most confidential. And that's why he's saying that this knowledge is Guhya Tamam. And he is going to impart that confidential knowledge, knowing which we shall be relieved from all the material existence. And Krishna says, how many energies he has? He has three energies. What are those? Internal potency or energy, external, and what is the third one? Marginal. So internal potency means all the spiritual planets, all the spiritual world, entire Vaikuntha Lokas. External potency means opposite of spiritual world is material world. Yes. So, and what is the marginal potency? All the
in which we are in.
living entities. So we souls are falling under the marginal potency, and we living entities, the souls, have an opportunity or chance, or we have the ability to either stay in the spiritual world or in the material world. And Krishna is saying that this material nature and all the energy is one of my energies, and it is also working under his direction only. and it is created and annihilated again and again. This material world, the spiritual world is permanent, but the material world has to go through cycle of creation, annihilation, like that. And what do the Mahatmas do? They take shelter of the divine nature or the spiritual energy. And once they come under that nature, their only thing is to bhajanti, means do surrender devotional service, ananya manaso, without any other desire. And once they do that, Gnatva Bhutadim Abhyayam. They uh, come under the protection and they are not deluded anymore. And what is the benefit of doing that? So we discussed, right, about, I think the great question came up. What is the relationship between Krishna and Vishnu? Right? And we understand from the Dashavataras that all the avatars came from Vishnu, right? And what is the relationship with Krishna? So this is again the most confidential knowledge. We go in detail about the information about the spiritual world, because until then our first Guhyam and Guhyataram is mostly focused on the material world. Guhyatamam is also bringing information, knowledge from the spiritual world, which is Krishna is the original Bhagwan, like he's the Bhagwan from whom all the expansions happened. Just like we think, right? We as a person, I'm in the home. I'm acting as not acting, but my responsibility is as a father or a member in the family. When I go to the office, I'm like a person working there. When I go to some other place, I'm working in a different way. Similarly, Krishna, if he is as a king, uh, if he's in the mood of a king, like he is Rama, right? If he is giving protection, he is Narsimha. So those are all the different avatars. Wow. As we said, right, this spiritual world is eternal, and it doesn't end. It is always there. So any of the avatars that belongs to the Supreme Lord don't have an end. So, but they appear and disappear in the material world. So all the avatars, Rama, Narasimha, like Krishna, Vamana, everyone, they are all in the spiritual world. And yada yada hi dharmasya, whenever there is a time for them to come, they will come and to the material world. And one of the expansion of the Supreme Lord is Mahavishnu. And from who is the one Mahavishnu? He expands as he expands into this supreme material world, and he sits in everyone's heart as so when we read Bhagavad Gita in more detail, I can go into more detail later, where Mahavishnu also expands as two more Vishnus. It's called Kshirodakasai Vishnu and Garbhodakasai Vishnu. When we say Supreme Lord is within our heart, it is the Vishnu that is sitting in our heart. And what is the reason for Vishnu to take care of this is, when you are going into, if you're a officer or in a company, right, you put all your relationships aside, you do your duty. So the responsibility of Mahavishnu that he took up is, he is an expansion of Krishna, that he is going to conduct this material world. This material world, he has to be impartial. He doesn't think that, oh, this person is my friend, this person, no. Everybody, he is equal to everyone. That's why in this material world, we see that some people who are demoniac also will still be able to do demoniac until their karma catches up. So everybody has the same rule here. You do good work, you get good reactions back. If you do bad work, you get bad reactions. It's just that we cannot look at just only one lifetime. We have been in this material world for millions and millions of lifetime. So the karma that we are getting is basically from previous lifetimes. And who is giving that? It is the Vishnu who is overseeing that. Daiva Netrena, it said. All this information will again come in the later chapters of Jnana Yoga, from chapter 13 to 18. So what we have to understand there is that unless and until we take the shelter of one of the avatars, or the spiritual Vishnu tattvas from the spiritual world, we are under the protection of Vishnu, and Vishnu is always impartial. But the moment we take shelter of any of the the expansions of Krishna or Krishna himself, then we come under the protection of the spiritual world. And then what will Krishna do? Yoga Kshemam Vaham Yaham. And Krishna is saying in chapter 4, text 11 also, right? I will simply reciprocate. So if we are not taking any step towards spirituality, we are still protected by Vishnu. But only thing is, he's impartial. Whatever karma we did, he will give us. But if we want to get rid of our karma, we have to take shelter of the Vishnu Tattvas. And if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna is giving a promise. If whoever who worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. If whatever they have, he is going to preserve them. And whatever they lack, he himself will carry those. Means the moment we take a spiritual step towards self-realization and take shelter of the Supreme Lord will come over and take over. So if we are thinking that this body is like a vehicle and we are driving and we don't know the path, right? It's this material world where it takes us, in which situation it puts us, we don't know. But if we take the passenger seat and give the driving seat to Krishna, we are fully confident. If there is a plane that is flying and then there is a sudden turbulence and everybody started panicking and one girl is sitting there and she's very quiet and she's reading the book and she's not even worried. Then after all if you are traveling in a flight, sometimes there is called when there is too much turbulence, and during the turbulence when the air density decreases, the flight actually loses altitude. Suddenly it will drop also. But again, it will come under control. And people started panicking and this girl is all silent and people turn towards the goal, everything settles and everybody panic is done. One person next to it, the girl sits, hey, you don't seem to be worried at all. Why? She says, my father is the pilot, so I don't have to worry, he will take care of me. Same thing. As long as we don't take any step towards spirituality, we are under the control of Vishnu and Vishnu is impartial. But if we want our karma to be taken away, if we want our Supreme Lord to guide us, we have to take a step, either reading Bhagavad Gita or chanting the holy name. That is the prescribed process for this. So if we do that, then do we think we have everything? Nobody in this world has everything, but Krishna has everything. We'll read that in chapter 10. He's mentioned what are the opulences he has. And we don't have to be rich. We don't have to be having so many friends. We don't have to invite everyone and do like a grand celebration to do devotional service. All that is required is a little bit of devotion. If with that pure devotion we say, Krishna, please come and save me, or Krishna, take care of me. I am your, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to serve you. Even in that mood, if we offer a leaf, flower, fruit, and water, how many started doing offering this daily after the class we had on chapter 9? Anyone started? Okay, you all have to start, but yeah, start and see the difference. It will bring so much um, peace and happiness in our life. So just take a little water and put it in the altar. If we cannot do that, then also at least in the mind, whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we offer and give away, whatever austerities we perform, just think that, okay, I'm doing this for you, Krishna, or Supreme Lord. And in that mood, if we are always engaged in our mind of thinking of Krishna, then he's going to surely come to Krishna. So he's going to go to Krishna for sure. Yes, so now that we read about the confidential knowledge, how can we gen have more interest? Like, let's say we want to love someone, we want to like someone. What increases our love towards them?
Their nature.
Their nature, or knowing about their nature, right? If they have good qualities or any qualities that they have, if we know that this person is very kind, this person is compassionate, this person always helps others, this person, even though he is rich, he doesn't have the pride, he's down to earth, he's always, and those kind of things, when we come to know, we like them more and more. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, if we want to like the Supreme Lord more and more, the more we hear about his opulences, the more attracted we become towards the Supreme Lord and more service we will do. And that's why this in this chapter 10, Krishna is going to share about his opulences when Arjuna asks him. Okay. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Bhuya eva Mahabaho
भूय एव महाबाहो
Shunu me paramam vacha
शृणु
शृणु
मे
मे
परमं
परमं
च
yatte aham priyamanaya
यत्ते
यत् एयं
यत्तमेहं
यमाना
अहं
प्रियमाणाय
प्रयमाणाय
vakshyami hitakamyaya.
वक्ष्यामि
वक्ष्यामि
हितकाम्यया.
हितकामया।
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
The
Krishna.
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mightily armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained.
So now he is going to share these opulences, all the things that he had. That information he is even so all these chapters from 7 to 12 are all about devotional service. How can we engage more and more? How can we bring Krishna more and more into our life? And in this verse, it is mentioned that we discussed already, right? Why is Krishna called Bhagavan? In this whole of Bhagavad Gita, whenever Krishna is speaking, it is mentioned as Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Let's see here, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Who is Bhagavan? The definition of Bhagavan was given by Parashara Muni. Anyone knows who is Parashara Muni? He is the father of Vyasadeva. So Vedavyas, right? We call, so he is his father. So he said that if we Bhagavan, the definition is one who possesses all six opulences in full. What are those six opulences? Anyone who has all strength, all wealth, all fame, all knowledge, all beauty, all renunciation. Do we know anyone in this world who has all of this? Someone might have strength, but they might not have all the fame or knowledge. Someone might be beautiful, but they don't have wealth. Someone might be having a few of these and they have full pride. They don't have any renunciation. So, but Krishna exhibited all of this. Krishna, he lifted with his left hand, little finger, the Govardhana hill when he was 7 years old and stood there like 7 days, 7 nights, protecting all the inhabitants of Gokula. He is the all opulent because um, the goddesses of fortune, uh, they serve his feet always, and he, he basically it is mentioned that in this material world we always worship Mother Lakshmi, right, to get the opulence. And Mother Lakshmi, anyone knows her name? She's called Chanchala, means she will not stay in one place. And that's why people might be wealthy now, they might be not so wealthy later, because they might be getting the mercy of Mother Lakshmi for some time and it's gone after. But there is a secret actually. Wherever there is the Supreme Lord, Mother Lakshmi will automatically be there. So if we bring Krishna into our life, automatically the opulence of wealth and will automatically come. So we don't have to put extra endeavor because Mother Lakshmi, she always wants to serve Krishna, right? So basically, if we bring the Supreme Lord into our life, opulence will automatically come. And He is all fame. We know anyone went to Jagannath Rath Yatra? How many people they come there? So He has all fame. He's word Jagannath means what? He is the Nath or the Supreme Lord for the whole of the universe, Jagat, and He is very popular. That all fame. And he is all knowledgeable. That's why he is able to give this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna when he was confused about his duty. And there is nothing we can tell more about the beauty of Krishna, right? Everybody, whoever sees Krishna, they gets attracted to him. And renunciation means imagine someone like who has these few opulences, they become so much pride, but he doesn't get attached to any of those, even though he has like 18,000 wives, and then he is not attached to any of them. And then when Sudama, yeah, so the Brahmana Sudama comes, he immediately runs towards the palace gate, and he receives him, puts him on his throne, and he sits and washes his feet. So because we have to understand he is not, even though he has so many appliances, he's not attached to even any of them. And then now Krishna is going to reveal the what is called the Chatushloki Gita, means 4 verses from the Bhagavad Gita. These 4 give the complete essence even in more depth. And it's also kind of a turning point here, because until this point Arjuna is confused. But once Krishna reveals these 4 verses, all of Arjuna's confusion is gone. And from this point onwards, Arjuna asks more and more details about that will be beneficial for us. And also he is made up his mind almost that he is ready to fight. So what are those Chatusloki? 10.8 to 10.11. Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabho
mattah sarvam pravartate
matah sarvam
सर्वं
pravartate
प्रवर्तते
iti matva bhajante mam
Iti
iti
matva
matva
bhajante
bhajante
mam
mam
buddha bhava samanvitaha.
Buddha
Buddha
Bhava
bhava
Samanvitaha.
samanvitaha.
Anyone wants to read the purport? Sorry, translation.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
So Krishna is again saying, right, the spiritual world and the material world is all coming from him only. And this is Mahavishnu who was saying. And when whoever have all this knowledge, then immediately engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, and with all their heart they worship him. Number 10.9. Machitta madgata prana
Machitta madgata prana
bodhayantah parasparam
bodhayantaha parasparam
katayantascha mam nityam
katayantasya
कथयन्तश्च मां
mamam nityam
नित्यं
tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
tushyanti cha
मन्ति च
Anyone wants to read the translation?
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
So what the devotees do, they always discuss about Krishna and his pastimes. And anything that is related to the Supreme Lord, whether it is his name, his paraphernalia, his pastimes, they all are perfect and they bring so much joy. So and they derive this Tushyanti Charamanticha, means they are always seeking, by discussing those, they are always in a happy mood, like they are fully satisfied and blissful. And by discussing about the Krishna Katha or the Rama Katha, Hari Katha, uh, that is so in any spiritual topics, there is 3 things called Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Sambandha means we have to understand the relationship with the Supreme Lord. Abhideya means what is the process, and Prayojana means what is the benefit or outcome of the process. In here, the devotees previously understand what is the relationship between them and the Supreme Lord. And here they also, what the activity, the process they follow is, they always are engaged in discussing about the Supreme Lord. And by doing that, they get transcendental bliss, the Prayojana. Next verse. Tesham satata yuktanam
Tesham satatayuktanam
सततयुक्तानां
bhajatam priti purvakam
Bhajatam
bhajatam
Priti
प्रीतिपूर्वकं
purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
Dadami
dadami
ददामि
Buddhi
buddhi
Yogam
yogam
Tam
बुद्धियोगं
yena mam upayanti te.
येन मां
येन मां
उपयान्ति ते.
उपयान्ति ते.
Can someone read the purport? Is that translation?
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Jai, thank you. So there is some always a misconception by people who are not devotees, who are engaged in different other yoga processes, like especially Gnana yogis. They are always in study of Vedas or analyzing this material world, study of Sankhya Yoga. They say, how are these devotees sentimentally following these processes? Without this knowledge, how can they understand this world? How can they understand that there is a spiritual world? Or after, how can they achieve liberation? They don't know the process. You have to sit, you have to meditate, you have to do like this and all. But Krishna is saying, what is he saying? Krishna, we know he said he is sitting in everyone's heart, right? So we don't have to put any extra endeavor. If we are constantly devoted to Krishna, Krishna himself will give the understanding by which we can come to him. We don't have to put so much effort. And that is what I was telling in the previous classes, which we are discussing, which is the beauty of Bhakti Yoga is we are not relying on our effort. The effort that we are putting in Bhakti Yoga is very, very less compared to the effort we have to put in other yoga processes. Karma Yoga, you have to constantly think, am I doing the right thing? Especially in the age of Kali, you cannot do the right thing with the society being not ruled by righteous people. So anything you do is going to cause more bad karma only. In Gnana Yoga, in Kali Yuga, nobody of us has the ability to remember something by just reading once. We have to keep understand, and we cannot understand without a proper guidance. And our body is not meant to sit straight and sit and do meditation. Our body doesn't have the capability. If we try to do those, it will take lifetimes after lifetime. But Bhakti Yoga, all Krishna is saying is just think of him, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. And in that mood, once we purify ourselves, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tvayam, just offer me a leaf, flower, fruit, and water. And is it easy or difficult compared to other yoga processes?
Very
Easy.
Easy, right? So if something is easy, we all have to take that. And Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhayat means in this endeavor, even if we make little progress, it will save us from the greatest danger. What is the greatest danger? Anyone
Taking
remembers?
birth again.
Taking birth again as a non-human being, because human being is a promotion. It is the topmost of the evolution that we have in the material world in this earthly planet. And if we are given promotion, if we don't use the execute the responsibility that we are given, we get demoted. So if we take at least a swalpam, means a little bit of devotion, then we mean it's our responsibility has been undertaken. So next birth will be a human form of life for sure. But the Bhakti Yoga is so easy that we don't have to stop with a little, and it is pratyaksha susukam kartum avyayam. It gives us happiness more and more. So once we start, we don't stop it actually, because it is effortless and it is at the same time giving us the bliss that we always wanted. We are not the initial step is the hardest. Like even this journey of 100 miles starts with one step. That one steps we have so many doubts. Should I take it or not? Should I take it? Once we take that step, we'll realize that why I waited for this long to take this first step. Tesham evanukampartam
Tesham
Tesam
evanukampartam
evanukampartam
aham agnanajam tamaha
aham
aham
agnanajam tamaha
ajnanam
नाश्य नाशयाम्य आत्मभावस्तो
नाशयामि
नाशयाम्य
आत्मभावस्तव
आत्मभावस्तु
आत्मभावस्तौ
ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता.
ज्ञानदीपेन
ज्ञानदीपेन
भास्वता.
भास्वता.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
To show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Yeah, so Krishna is saying that what we just discussed, that he is in the heart and he is the one who will give the knowledge. Without reading anything, that if we understand all the conclusions, then do we have to again read everything? It's not necessary, right? We don't have to spend too much time. If we know all the conclusions of the any subject matter, why do we have to again pay the fee and sit in the school and study again? Same thing. If we understand the essence of all the Vedas, which will come in the next few chapters, that what Krishna is saying about Vedas. But if we understand the essence, which is Bhagavad Gita, and which is also the Guhyatamam, that the ultimate goal is to surrender to the Supreme Lord, and what is the need for again going through these difficult processes of Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga? We just take the Bhakti Yoga and take it forward. Then after this, what is Arjuna's realization? Arjuna says, Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Param Brahma Parandama
Param
Param Brahma
Brahma
Parandhama
Paramam
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Pavitram
Pavitram
Paramam
Paramam
Bhavan
Bhavan
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam
Purusham
Purusham
Shashwatam
Shashwatam
Divyam
Divyam
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum
Adidevam
Adidevam
Ajam
Ajam
Vibhum
Vibhum
Ahustvam Rushayah Sarve
Ahusvam
Ahusvam
Vishaye
Rushayat
Sarve
Sarve
Devarshir Nardastata
Devashir
Devarshir
Naradastata
Naradastata
Asito Devalo Vyasa
Asito
Asito
Devalo
Devalo
Vyasa
Vyasa
Swayam Chaiva Bravishime.
Swayam
Swayam Chaiva
Abravishime.
Bravishime.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So what Arjuna is saying is, you are Parabrahma. We know Brahman, right? Brahman is the whole spiritual and material worlds are emanating from Brahman only. And Krishna is the Parabrahman. He is, from chapter 14, we can understand Krishna himself says that Brahman is maintained by him only. Parandama, he is the ultimate Dhama, means abode. And Pavitram Param, he is the purest of the pure. And he is the Bhava, like he is the absolute truth. And Purusham Shashwatam, he is the eternal Shashwatam and transcendental original person Purusham. Divyam means the greatest, and Ajam Vibhum. Divya means transcendental, original person, unborn and the greatest. And what Arjuna is saying is, it is not me that is saying. All the great personalities also say the same thing, which is like Narada, Sita, Devala, Vyasa. And now we can see that after Chatusloki, Arjuna has this realization that he understands the position of Krishna. And once he understands the position of Krishna, uh, he will basically do what he says. And of course, Krishna will see that he will still give a choice to Arjuna, even though after telling everything, he will say, Arjuna, like now you still, I'm giving you the free will to decide whether you want to fight or not. But this is where it all starts from. Arjuna continues, O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? How shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered? O Supreme Personality of Godhead. O Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satisfied in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So same thing, right? Krishna is saying, Manmana Bhavamadhu, always constantly think of me. Then Arjuna is saying, Oh Krishna, how can I constantly think of you? How shall I know you more and more? The more I know you, the more I want to relish the taste, the nectar of your words. So the same thing, if we know about someone and their greatness, the more we like them. And that's why Arjuna is asking Krishna to reveal more about his opulences. And Krishna is now going to reveal that. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Sri Bhagavan
Vacha,
Vacha
Hantate Katayashyami Divya
Antate
Antate Kate
Katya
Swami Divyam
Katayi
Yatma Vibhutayaha
Yai Atma
Yatma
Vibhutaya
Vibhutaya
Pradhanyatah Kuru Shrestha
Pradhan Yatah
Purushrestha
Purushreshta
Nasti Anto Vistarasya Me.
Nastyanto
Nastyanto
Vistarasya Me.
Vistarasya.
Translation, anyone?
The Supreme Personality. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
The
We are waiting for you.
Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless."
Did you have school last week or homework?
Yes.
Because last week you did not read, so we are waiting for you. Thank you for reading. So what Krishna is saying is, okay, Arjuna, I'm going to tell all my splendorous manifestation, but you have to understand those are only the prominent ones because his opulences are limitless. Can you guess how many Vaikuntha planets there are in the spiritual world? 10, 100, 1,000, unlimited.
Unlimited, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Unlimited. So when we say Dasavatar, we think about Matsya, Kurma, Vamana, Narsimha, right? Like those avatars, right? 10 of those. But even in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is expanded to another 24. But even in there, it says that those are only some which we know. But there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets. We don't know some avatars of expansions of Krishna that are there. But they will be going into different universes. But for our universe, there are around 24 that are prominent, and out of those, 10 was picked as most prominent by the sages, and we read about only them. But in the spiritual world, it is Ananta, and it is mentioned that Ananta Sesh, the snake on which the Vishnu lies, uh, he has unlimited heads. With all his heads, he is trying to glorify the Supreme Lord, and he never ends. The more he glorifies, still there is more glories to be said. So he has been glorifying it from time immemorial, from the beginning. Of course, in the spiritual world, there is no beginning; it's always existed. But for the sake of discussion, still he is glorifying his opulences of the Supreme Lord, and he still cannot complete because it is limitless. And out of those, Krishna is going to tell only a few of his opulences. What Krishna is going to say is, these are all the rest of the verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 that says, of all the demigods, I am Indra. Of all the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of all the Rudras, I am Shiva. Of all the generals, I am Kartikeya. Of all the Vasus, I am Agni. Of all the Daityas, I am Prahlada. Of the dispensers of law, I am Yama. And of the creators, I am Brahma. And of the cause of procreation, I am Kandarpa. So there are nice stories from Srimad Bhagavatam for each of these, but we can discuss about the Yama story. There is a Brahmana called Ajamil, and Ajamila, he was a very nice Brahmana. He did all lot of austerities, but when he becomes an adult and he has a family, and while he was walking through um, like a village road, he sees a prostitute like spending time with another man, and he gets so much attracted by the prostitute, and he puts his family aside and runs after that, and he marries the prostitute, and he has more children with the prostitute. He just does that. He completely stops taking care of his responsibilities and takes the wrong path. And what he does is he has like 10 children, and he likes his with the last child from the he has 10 children with the prostitute, and he likes the last child. He names the child as Narayana, and he did so many sinful activities because he lost his um, Brahmana culture, he even resorts to stealing, sinful activities for getting the money. But when he becomes old and he was about to leave his body, he sees Yamadutas, uh, who are the messengers of Yama, Lord Yama, who is the one who takes care of the hellish planets. And as soon as he sees that he's them coming, because he was initially a Brahmana, he has some powers. He can see the transcendental, he can see the higher beings. He immediately gets scared and he immediately calls out for his son to come and help. Narayana, he says. And he did not call Narayana the Supreme Lord, but the word Narayana is so powerful that it immediately Vishnudutas appear there. And then they stop the Yamadutas. Yamadutas, like once Yama sends Yamadutas to bring a person, it's destined. They will bring that person, no matter what. But in this case, their Yamapasha means the rope that they use to pull the soul out of the body. Those were cut by Vishnuduta's swords, and Yamadutas were shocked to see what's happening. They cannot even see the effulgence of the coming out from the Vishnudutas. They're so much glaring, and then they run away from there. They go back to Yama planet. And meanwhile, the Vishnudutas give another opportunity for Ajamil, and Ajamil sees them and he says, I completely understand what things I have done. And for the rest of the life, the second chance he got, he engages completely in devotional service. And after some more years, when he again leaves his body out of old age, he goes back to Vaikuntha only. But meanwhile, when this incident happened, the Yamadutas go running to Lord Yama, and he says, "Oh Lord Yama, we thought you are the supreme judge. When you give an order, there is nobody who can take that back, who can stop that activity. And but when we went to this sinful person Ajamil, who are these divine beings who came and stopped us? We cannot even stand them. They cut our ropes. We haven't seen anybody so powerful like those people." Then Yama, using his yogic powers, he understands. Oh, what you came across is whom you came across are the Vishnudutas. Yes, I am the supreme judge in this world. You are right, but what you don't know is there is one more person who is superior to me. He is my boss, and I cannot. Um, Boss, I'm just telling in these words, but he is the person who even controls me. Because you guys are in the material world, you don't have that information, and it is the Supreme Lord Himself. And if you come across the Vishnu Dutas, don't even dare to go near them. And he's saying that anytime there is a devotee who is about to leave the body, the Vishnu Dutas will appear right there. So be careful from going forward. If there is a devotee, don't even go close to a devotee, because Vishnu Dutas will always be there. And if you want to bring someone, go to those people who don't use their tongue to chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. They don't use their body to do a little devotional service. They don't use their whole human form of life to don't render any service. So even Yama says that um, devotional service is so important, and if there is a person doing a little devotional service, Vishnu Dutas will be there always to um, protect them. With the another analogy that was given is like when a soul goes from one body to another, it is a very painful experience because it gets pulled without our desire to get out of the body by the ropes and gets inserted into another body based on our karma. And if you know about, if there is a cat, right? A cat is holding a rat in its mouth. A cat is also holding a kitten in its mouth when it wants to take it from one place to another. The grip of the cat on the for the mouse is a death trap. The mouse cannot escape; it dies there. But the same mouth, when it is holding a kitten, it is so gentle, and the kitten doesn't feel any pain at all. So if a devotee is going from one body to another, it is the Vishnu Dutas that come and transfer, and they don't feel any pain moving from one body to another. So there are so many, we can go on and on about the glories of devotional service that are benefits of doing it. It only makes us more and more happy. It doesn't cause any misery at all. And he's saying, in the material world of the light sources, I am the sun. Of the stars, I am the moon. Of the mountains, I am Meru. Of the immovables, I am Himalayas. Of the water bodies, I am the ocean. Of the trees, I am the banyan tree. Of the rivers, I am the Ganga. Of the months, I am Margasira. And of the seasons, I am the spring. Essentially, he's saying that all the best things, he's him only. Because um, when we look at different categories, we already know from material world that this is the best, and Krishna is saying that he is the best, which means that automatically other things are also him. So everything that is there is Krishna himself, is his expansion. And of the sages, he is Vyasa. Of the greats, anyone wants to read? Of the great sages, he is Bhrigu. Sages among demigods is Narada. Priests is Brihaspati. Perfected beings is Kapila. And great thinkers is Sukracharya. It's Oshana. He is even Sukracharya is the spiritual master for all the Rakshasas. It is Krishna only. And of the horses, who is Uchchaishrava? Of the lordly elephants, he is Airavat. Cows, Surabhi. Serpents, Vasuki. Many hooded Nagas, Ananta. So he is both the Vasuki that is in Shiva's neck, and he is also the Ananta on whom Krishna sleeps. Vishnu sleeps or lies down. Fishes, he is the shark. Beasts, he is the lion. Of the birds, he is the Garuda himself. And of the senses, he is the mind, because of all, the senses are all controlled by the mind only. Of all the living being entities that are there in the heart, he is still residing there in the as the super soul. Of all the mantras, he is the topmost mantra, which is the Gayatri mantra. Of all the letters, he is the letter A, the first letter. Of the compound words, he is the Dvanta Samasa, means like the dual compound. Of the science, he is the spiritual science, means there are so many mundane material sciences in this world, but the spiritual science is the topmost, which solves all our problems, and he is that science. Of the logical truths, he is the conclusive truth. He is ultimate truth. You can go in any number of lifetimes reading Vedas or doing this meditation. Ultimately, you will come to only one truth. There is only one truth, and that is saying he is Krishna only. And of the Samaveda hymns, he is the Brihat Sama, because Samaveda is one of the Vedas that has so many uh, nice compositions in the form of a song, very sweet to hear. So after that, the Brihat Sama is one of the topmost, and he's saying he's that. And of all the vibrations, we know that what is this whole material world was started with the first vibration, which is Om. Om is the cosmic sound. If we are doing the Om vibration, we are always engaging, keeping our body in sync with that. But our goal is to not just make the body healthy and perfect, right? We also want to make the soul happy. So besides the transcendental Om, we have to do something that the soul likes, which is doing the yagna, sacrifices. Of all the yagnas, he is the japa yagna, chanting of the holy name. And that's why we always recommend do the japa of the holy name. Of the Vedas, he is Samaveda, like I mentioned, which is very beautiful compositions. And if you think about it, right, I don't know if you ever noticed, you go to any temple, you do anything like a puja or a yagna or a sacrifice or whatever thing you do, whether it is a Vaishnava temple, even in the Shaivik temple, it is done, but some people might be not doing, I don't know. But any, if you ritual you do, any puja or anything, after all that is done, every priest will say one thing. Whether you did it for Ganesha, whether you did it for Vishnu, anyone, finally they say, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Next time when you go to a temple, you listen to that. And you might ask, okay, I did this puja for Ganesh, I did this puja for Indra, I did this puja for, but why is everything at the end saying Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu? Because the priests also know everything is from Krishna only. But when they say that everything is Krishna, we get so many questions. Who is Vishnu? Who is Shiva? But they don't have the time to explain all that. So, but these are the sessions that we have. Essentially, that's why Prabhupada says that please go to ISKCON temple, because their focus is not on the rituals but on disseminating the knowledge. Because if we know the knowledge and why something is being done, then we do it ourselves with whole heart. But if we are just doing without knowing, it becomes a sentiment. We don't have that knowledge why it is being done. So that is why this whole reading the Bhagavad Gita will help us understand, come to this logical truth or the absolute truth, and it will help us motivate. There is no external motivation. It is not like we force our kids to go along with us to the temple, and then they are thinking, why I am going to the temple? First of all, we stopped going to the temple. We see other religious people, they have a day dedicated for going to the temple. We ourselves, at least we should put one day in a week and go to the temple, because we are doing so many activities in the material world. Why can't we just do one activity for the Supreme Lord? Any temple you go, but if the temple is only focused on the, when Prabhupada, the founder of Charya of ISKCON, he says that if the other temples are doing this kind of Bhagavad Gita study and all, it's great. But whatever in this Kali Yuga we are seeing, their only thing is do this puja, get some money, like that. Essentially, it is ritual is important, but at the same time, we have to understand why the ritual is being done. And if we always pay some attention, we will quickly see that whatever Bhagavad Gita is saying is in complete alignment with what the ritual is also happening. Any questions before we close today's session? Is it clear? This is very confidential knowledge, so I'm just giving so many examples and going into detail, but are you understanding why the importance of devotional service? As long as we understand that this is the easiest part that we have and most beneficial, all we have to do is chanting, because there is no difference between the holy name and Krishna himself. And we chant, we get the mercy. And don't wait for some event to happen. It is, and why can't this be the event where you join this Bhagavad Gita class, and this might be the one? Because people will think that if God really loves me, why is he not showing himself to me? Why is he not? No, because we discussed there is spiritual world and there is this material world. 3/4 of the living entities are in the spiritual world and 1/4 are in the material world. We all are here in the material world. And the one reason we are here is we are rebellious. We are rebellious towards the Supreme Lord. And Krishna says in the next chapter, Aham Bija Pradapita, means for every living entity, I am the seed giving father. So think of it, right? You have a father in a house, you become an adult, and you say, Father, I have been living in your shadow for so long. I want my own thing. I don't want to live in your shadows. I want to stay independent of you. Will the father force you to stay? No, you have to stay in this house, son, or daughter, you cannot go anywhere. He says, okay, please go. He gives complete freedom. And when the son goes out, we know what happens, right? He struggles because he wants to do it on his own. And then all he has to do it is, even with all the struggles, he has this ego, which I came away from the father. I don't want to turn back to him. But that is the reason we are all in the spiritual world, and we thought, I want to enjoy independently of Krishna. I don't want to enjoy in relationship with the Krishna. So we break that relationship and we come into this material world, and we are struggling here. All we have to do is turn towards Krishna and says, Father, take me back. Once we do that, then all the help will come automatically, and then we will be able to get out of this material world, the samsara, the the cycle that binds us lifetime after lifetime. Okay, any questions? If not, we can close today's session by saying Hare Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रपाद की जय. All glories to Krishna. Hare Krishna. All glories to Vaishnava devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Antimala.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Antimala.
Hare Krishna.
Antimala.